So spoilers for the time skip, but I think Big Mom might be the oldest Devil Fruit user out of both sets of Yonko that we have gotten in the narrative. Because looking at herself, Whitebeard, and Kaido, we know out of those three, Kaido's the youngest, but we don't know where Whitebeard places. We don't know that much about when Edward Newgate ate the Tremor fruit. So it's very possible that Big Mom has the most experience with her Devil Fruit, seeing as how she ate it when she was a child. So that actually makes sense in hindsight, because out of all the races that have been generated by Devil Fruits throughout the narrative, homies are the most complex, and they're the only ones who seem to be actual original individuals, because we know that based on various points in the narrative, it doesn't seem as though homies are directly connected to Big Mom, meaning if she dies, they die. I don't think that's possible, because homies have the tendency now, based on what Zeus does, to have self-preservation ingrained into their psyche. So Zeus actively did not want to be terminated by Big Mom, despite her being his originator, and actually self-preserved himself by hiding in Nami's climate tech. So it's super interesting because no other Devil Fruit construct has done that. They've all either been transmogrified persons, like say the toys in Dressrosa, or they have just been slaves to the user. So your zombies or your genie in the case of Big Mom's son, Daifuku, or even like the Bisik soldiers when you talk about her other son, Cracker. So it's really interesting that homies are this diverse and this independent. And speaking about the diversity, they've got all these abilities based on their own independent physiology, which I find crazy. And it doesn't even have to be that they're made out of like a substance that is gaseous or whatnot. So they don't even have to be like Prometheus or Zeus. They can be weapons like, say, Nash, of whom we see in Elbaf proper. And from the abilities that Nash has, he seems to be on par with, let's say, the sword, Napoleon, who's also a hat, because Nash can increase his size, and Napoleon's a bit of a weird Swiss Army knife, as he can become a variety of different swords, even though in his resting state, he's simply a hat. So it's all super interesting that the Soul Fruit held by Big Mom is this integrated into the story, and its constructs are this complex to the point where they're actually characters, they're individual beings apart from Big Mom herself. But with that being said, could you please be a homie to me and click that sub button if you are enjoying the content, click that like button if you are enjoying the content, and ring that bell so you never miss a Pauly P Works video. On top of that, if you can find it, please click that hype button. It really helps out a lot. However, on with the rest of the video. The only Devil Fruit that I have seen so far, and this has been very recent, but the only Devil Fruit that matches the Soul Fruit's complexity in terms of beings that it can spawn is the Dragon Fruit mythical model Kirin, held by Remo Shifu Killingham, because that fruit allows him to make these nightmare creatures, right? But the nightmare creatures in question seem to be very limited because they have to be generated from the minds of the people on the island that he's currently on, presumably. Also, they also seem pretty mindless, as they seem to just follow orders based on what Killingham says. Some of them do have abilities, like the Nidhogg can shoot this weird lightning fire. So they do sometimes have abilities, but I think much like with the Soul Fruit, those abilities are based on the thoughts of whatever the person thinks that this weird creature can actually do. So it's very odd that Killingham's abilities are kind of locked up based on the thoughts and feelings of the people that he's lifting the ideas from, which is very interesting. Now that I think about it, that's quite complex, but it's still not as complex as Big Mom, who can actually make separate individuals apart from herself, and then those individuals, based on their physiology, meaning what she put the soul into, interact with the world totally differently than anything else we've seen in the series. But with that being said, give me your thoughts and tell your friends about Polypede Works.